Just get this live started. Mikey T, the movie star live podcast starting now. Let me just get all my audio situated for everybody tapping in. Let me make sure everything is Gucci here for the live experience. Definitely appreciate everybody tapping in. We have a couple dope topics to go over today. I want to do an early live stream. Everybody watching me on the gram, hit the link in my bio and come join us over on YouTube. Everybody watching this on the gram right now, come over and join us on YouTube, everybody. We're rocking on YouTube right now. I just wanted to come on here on Instagram, a little bit last minute promo, and let everybody know what we're doing today. Let's go. Let's get it. Hit the link in my bio. Come join us. All right, cool. Last minute promo before we get started on today's live video. Definitely hype on this video. You know, I've been listening to that new Lloyd Banks album, The Course of the Inevitable, you guys. The Course of the Inevitable 2 is out right now. But of course, we're not going to be talking about that right now because I'm going to be doing that review a little bit later this week. I'm doing the review of The Course of the Inevitable a little bit later this week. But today we're going to be talking about 50 Cent admitting that he went wrong with Lloyd Banks. That's right. We're going to be taking a look at a G-Unit story, a throwback G-Unit story today. Also, Gillie Da Kid. Gillie Da Kid sending that ether. Gillie Da Kid sending that ether to Ricky Rozay. You know, Gil's usually a smoker. But when he threw some shots back, we know what's popping now. And we hunting for Rozay. You know, I'm hunting for Rozay in a whole different matter. You know what I mean? I'm out there shopping for the best champagne, trying to get my shit right. Gillie Da Kid is out there knocking down Rozay pins. Gillie, this is probably the third or fourth time you've bombed on Ricky Rozay. This is the third or fourth time we've taken this journey with Gillie. First, it was the CEO. He stopped his whole interview with Southside to call out the CEO, the man who has been misrepresenting himself maybe since the beginning of his career. Maybe Rick Ross has been misrepresenting himself since the beginning of his career. Is that a possibility? I mean, first he gets into the game as Rick Ross. And I think we all know about the history of Rick Ross, a man who spent a number of years in jail, got out of jail, allegedly had some conversations with Rick Ross. I'm not going to get too much into that. I'd rather have Freeway Rick Ross come up on the channel and tell his story in regard to that. And you know, I have actually interviewed Freeway Ricky Ross in the past. But what did I do? I didn't take the route that everybody thinks, the quote unquote colonizer. I didn't take the route that, let's say, Hassan Campbell might have thought I would have taken. I didn't take the route that Hassan Campbell would have definitely taken himself. It's pretty simple to know that all of the bloggers out there, all the DVD cats from back in the day, if they would have had Freeway Rick Ross on his channel, their channels, they would have brought up Officer Ricky. They would have brought up Officer Ricky. But me, I'm a blogger that has a little bit of class. I'm not going to try to go out there and throw somebody's name under the bus. You know what I mean? When I'm coming in here and doing these hip-hop interviews, I'm doing hip-hop interviews, you guys. I'm not here looking for all the dirt. Don't classify me as that. Please don't classify me as that, you guys. There are levels to this shit. There are levels to the way that we conduct and produce interviews. A lot of guys out there just don't know what to ask. They don't know how to conduct themselves on a live video for 2.5 hours. It is what it is. What's poppin', yo? What's poppin', yo? Justin, appreciate you for tapping in. Eddie Numbers, my guy Philly 714 dabbing some sour D, and he said it's bomb. Everybody go ahead and share this video. We're talking about Lloyd Banks today. We're going all the way back with the G-Unit history. Plus, Gillie ethered Rick Ross this time around. That's right. Some Nas, Jay-Z. No, this one didn't go as far as Nas and Jay-Z. This one didn't go as far as, sometimes you only got to bring out that ether when you really got a credible opponent who can stand up against you. You know what I mean? Sometimes you really only need to bring out the big ammunition when you've actually got a big problem. Now, Rick Ross took to the internet and said what, you guys? Rick Ross took to the internet and said, I'm going to create a podcast after I feed my cow hooves, of course. After I feed my cow hooves, I will start a podcast. I'm going to basically run into the lane that I saw Nori, Joe Budden, Gillie Da Kid, Wallow popularize. I'm going to jump into the lane that I've seen popularized right in front of my very face. Now that it's completely evident. Sorry, Ross. Not everybody can create a podcast, man. Sorry, Rozay. Not everybody can create a podcast. We don't want to hear all the stories. But Gillie did give you a good podcast title. Lock It Up. Lock It Up podcast, you guys. So, Gillie went off on Ross, you guys. Gillie's like, I'm sorry. They shouldn't have given me no liquor. You know I don't drink. So Gillie's gotten a little bit of liquor in him. Now you know it's going to get crazy. Every time you pick up that phone when you've had a little bit of liquor, it gets a little bit crazy. I've been here doing videos every single day. The question is, where have you been? Don't miss my live videos. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I go live literally every other day. I release interviews literally every single day of the week, you guys. There is no reason you should be missing Mikey T, the movie star, because I'm out here. You guys. I'm out here doing this shit. Gillie's like, you know that my tolerance for liquor is not high. My tolerance for marijuana is the highest. I took 4 shots already. So the man took 4 shots. So I guess we know what that means. 4 shots. It's open season on Officer Ricky. I'm expecting to hear all types of crazy shit from Gillie. I took 4 shots already, but guess who ain't going to sleep? Ain't no dude in this industry said they're going to push on me. No rapper alive said they're going to punch on me. Someone had commented, Ross fighting them wings. Someone had commented there like, oh, Ross is having a hard enough time fighting them wings, Gil. I seen what the people was commenting to Gillie. Gillie's like, F-O-H. F-O-H. I'm out in London. I'm out in London. You know, Ross, where you used to go when you was lit? O2 Arena, all that shit. Is it starting to ring a bell? When you was lit, before you pushed too many Gunplay albums. Sorry, Gunplay. You know I love you, bro. But you flip out on me every time a video drops where you don't like the headline. If you don't like the headline, don't say you want beef with Tony Yayo, Gunplay. You know what I mean? Simple as that. You know what I mean? Don't come into a video talking beef with G-Unit if that's not what you want. This ain't what you want. Lil Durk probably heard the blog and made a single about that shit. This ain't what you want. If it ain't what you want, then don't talk about it, man. He said, I know they trolling. I'm just playing. I don't got no beef with nobody. I just think that dudes should mind their business. I just think dudes should mind their business. I ain't got no beef with nobody, Gillie's saying. I'm getting too much money. I'm getting too much money to beef. The reality is, me and Wallow make more money than all the rappers. Oh, it's a strange new reality. Shout out to my brother Gil. $1 million worth of game over everything. MMG thought they had a run. It's $1 million worth of games time now, Rozay. Yeah, Rozay, you should have put on Young Breed when you had the opportunity. No, you just make your homie sit. You just make your homie sit. Gillie's about to make me bigger than some of your artists ever were. Gillie puts Mikey T, the movie star, on. Gillie puts an artist on. It's going to be bigger than any of the MMG artists ever were. Gillie's reach is too long right now. Gillie's reach is too long right now. You can't stand up with him, Ross. Keep on doing the NASCAR. Do the NASCAR, Rozay. Do the NASCAR, Rozay. Go get back into the e-cigarette if that's still a thing. You know what I mean? Sign another conscious rapper and make up where you went wrong with Stolly. Please don't make me make a video about that. Please don't make me wake Mike T. He's crazy. You don't know what he's fitting to do. I'll come back and I'll flip all the old MMG stories around and put them back on you. I'll flip all them stories around and I'll tell the audience every single story. Please don't mess with me when it comes to this shit. My knowledge is too long. Gillie's reach is too long. My knowledge is too long. Funny thing is, Rozay had a chance where he could have solved all these problems. If Rozay still had Mikey T, the movie star, in pocket, like how Wack 100 says he has Adam 22 in pocket. I remember back in the day, Rozay was like, yo, Mikey, go film Fat Trell and go film Tracy T. All right, Ross? Hell yeah. But I'm more than a filmer. I'm more than a videographer. When your videographers put the news out about, no, they didn't put the news out. When they put the videos out about Fat Trell, nobody else knew. Nobody else knew that you had other new artists signed to MMG. That's where I came into play. That's where I came into play. But let's keep it going here, man. Let's keep it going here because Gillie is on one. Gillie is drunk. 4 shots in. We know Gillie smokes the best chronic. He probably smokes right around the same amount of weed as me. But the thing is, Gillie has been on that dispensary for quite a long time. I just got into the dispensary like 6 months ago. So I'm getting too much money to beef. Gillie said, I just think dudes should mind their business. I think dudes should mind their business. I ain't got no beef with nobody. I'm getting too much money to beef. The reality is, me and Wallow make more money than all the rappers except for Drake. Me and Wallow are getting more money than all the rappers. You hear that? You hear Gillie? Putting up a poll right now for everybody. I'm putting up a poll right now for everybody to vote in. I want y'all to vote in this poll. We're just getting started today, man. Definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate everybody tuning in, doing a live this early live today. You know what I'm saying? 4 o'clock live. Wanted to make sure I came in and got y'all with some heat. You know what I'm saying? Wanted to make sure I came in and give y'all some heat. You heard? But don't think we ain't. Hassan, you see, you don't need to be the topic of all of my videos. But don't think I'm letting up on you. Because tonight on my channel at 10 p.m., you all are going to hear about who ran Hassan Campbell out of the Bronx. That's right. You're going to all hear about who ran Hassan Campbell out of the Bronx tonight on my channel. Yeah, I'm bringing up, you didn't think I knew about it, did you, Hassan? You didn't think. That's what some investigative journalism will do. You see, you got it wrong. When I first interviewed 10 Toes Down, I didn't know all that shit about your drama with 10 Toes Down. I didn't. I'll admit it. The whole chat fired up and said, yo, Mikey T, you need to get 10 Toes Down on your channel. So I listened to the people. I listened to the people. I didn't know the whole story. I didn't know the relationship. I didn't know the fact that you guys had family members who were married. I didn't know all this. I didn't know the two of you were supposed to create a podcast, but when you do interviews, these are the things that you figure out about people when you do them right. And I understand, Hassan, you don't want to come over on this channel. You don't want to do an interview with Mikey T because I asked the hard questions. That's probably why you turned down that interview with DJ Vlad. Or were you following suit with Nori and my son all backed off? Were you following suit? The following suit of the cancel culture. You know, as much as you think, Hassan, that you did a good thing by exposing Wack talk about Nipsey, you didn't. You got people looking at you crazy too, man. Trying to disparage the name, the reputation, the legacy of one of the greats. But let's move on from that because we got some shit to talk about. Gillie's saying it's no beef with Ricky Rozay. Share this video if you mess with Mikey T. Hottest new blogger on the scene. But I've been out for 12 years strong. Yeah, work on top of work. Millions of views on top of millions of views. I don't do this shit looking for views. You know what I mean? Like it's the light at the end of the tunnel. I do this shit for the memories. So please miss me with that type shit. Salute to everybody. Upstate New York says, I think Gillie will have more money than Ross because Ross has too much money going out every month, more than Gillie. Vote in the poll right now. I want to know what you guys think. Who's getting more money? Because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of these guys, they argue over the money at the end of the day. Let's be real. At the end of the day, it comes down to them arguing. Rick Ross showing off a watch at 50 years old. Gillie Da Kid is like, that's kind of embarrassing. Remember all the kids were putting the money phones up to their ear? Jay-Z said that was kind of embarrassing. I said the other day, going outside. People going outside. Oh, I'm outside, please. You sound corny saying you're outside if you're not really about it. If you're just trying to say you're outside to go with the fad, miss me with it. That's what I meant when I said, when you say you're going outside, when you keep on yelling that you're outside, it's corny. No. It's more than corny. It's cringe. Why is it cringe? Because it's not true. And yesterday I had another part of my video I wanted to clear up. It actually was not Hassan Campbell that got caught up in Roski's lobby, sitting out on the stoop and all that shit. No, it wasn't Hassan. It was his homie, Bullets Gotti. And that's why I wanted to say, why are you letting Bullets Gotti do this type of shit? Why don't you have your man's back? Why don't you have the best intentions of your homies? Yo, you shouldn't be in that lobby. Yo, you know who that lobby is about? You know who be around there? Stay away from there, man. Focus on the media. You see what I'm doing. Now, salute to It's Biscuit, but I'm the hottest blogger out here, and It's Biscuit will tell you that. It's Biscuit will be like, yeah, Mikey T, the movie star, is the hottest blogger. Salute to It's Biscuit, though. It's my guy right there. Salute, North Philly. So Gillie's like, I'm getting too much money to beef. The reality is, me and Wallow make more money than all the rappers except for Drake, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Lil Durk, and a few other rappers, the Yo Gottis, the Moneybag Yos. The Moneybag Yos. But other than that, we make more money than you. We make more money than you, brother. Is that what Gillie was trying to do? His old Hulk Hogan, brother. Ooh, yeah. I make more money than you, baby. Gillie, at this point in his career, but I'm not only going to say that. It's not just at this point. Let's keep it real. Gillie has gotten more money than Rick Ross for a considerable portion of his career. Who was popping first? Rick Ross wasn't on an album until 2002. Rick Ross was not on an album until 2002, you guys. And that is the fact. And that video that Rick Ross was in with Trina was ultimately corny. It was a horrible first look. You know what I'm saying? When we're talking about rappers getting their first look before their major look, sometimes it goes wrong. Like when you wear a basketball jersey that's about 3 times too small. That's when it goes wrong. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. Let's be real here, you guys. When you are a part of a music video that nobody even sees, nobody can remember, even though it was on MTV. So let's be real here, you guys. Let's be real. Let's be real. Gillie Da Kid, Major Figures. Let's be real. Gillie Da Kid and Major Figures, they were on the scene before Rick Ross. And if anybody doesn't know that, you just don't remember the history. You just don't remember the history. Let's look back. Jay-Z came to get Gillie Da Kid in the Figures before he went to go get Rick Ross. He tried to sign him to the label. What was the Black Friday label / Rockefeller. He wanted to sign a group. He wanted to put him with Beanie Siegel. He did that before he went and got Ross. When Ross was on Slip and Slide, when Ross was with Suave House, they came and they picked Gillie Da Kid. They picked Gillie Da Kid out of Major Figures. And Tony Draper said, I see you as a solo entity. If Gillie was on here, he could explain that more properly. But Gillie was picked out of a group when the group already had a deal with Warner Brothers. Rick Ross didn't get any deal with Warner Brothers until he got a successful relationship with Jay-Z. Do you guys not remember? Like, I got one guy saying, that's cap. Do you not remember the history? Do you not remember the history? I don't think you even know the history to speak on it. Gillie's been in movies as well. That's another thing. Okay, so Gillie then leaves Tony Draper. Gillie then leaves Tony Draper, you guys. And guess who picks Gillie up? 2000. This is before that Trina record dropped as well. This was when Rick Ross was working on his first album. Somebody in the chat tell me what Rick Ross's first album was called, if you know the history like me. If you know the history like me, tell me what Rick Ross's first album was going to be called. And yeah, as far as Gillie doing a movie deal, he did that movie deal with Ving Rhames. Vin Rhames from popular series like Mission Impossible, popular series like Dawn of the Dead. You know what I'm talking about? That's why Gillie did that deal. Gillie got the call that Vin Rhames was looking for him. Gillie got the call that Vin Rhames was looking for him, and he didn't believe it. He didn't believe that shit. He said, what's this dude looking for me for? What's this dude looking for me for? He finally believed it. Nah, you guys. Y'all, Port of Miami was not going to be Rick Ross's first album. Rick Ross's first album was going to be called Rise to Power. Rick Ross's first album was going to be called Rise to Power. That's what I believe he was working on at Suave House. And the fact that nobody even knows that says a lot. You know what I mean? The fact that nobody knows that says a lot. You know, everybody knows the first album, Port of Miami, that dropped in 2006. 7 years after Gillie Da Kid got on the scene. Maybe 8 years. Maybe 8 years after Gillie Da Kid got on the scene, you guys. That's when Rick Ross got to drop his debut album. I knew about who Gillie Da Kid was before I knew about Rick Ross. By the time I knew who Rick Ross was, and here was my knowledge of Rick Ross, Jay-Z is going to sign a rapper out of Miami that somewhat resembles Big. That was my first knowledge of Rick Ross, you guys. Let's be real. Not everybody knew he was down in Miami writing hits in the studio, in Studio D, C, G, and F. Nobody knew he was in the studio writing like that up here on the East Coast. Jay-Z got word, though. What year? How many years? 5 years after he tried to sign the Figures? Guys, there's levels to this shit, man. Bro, I'm not bragging about a Ross interview. Ross, Yo Gotti, Young Dolph, Max B, French Montana. Y'all, I've interviewed the best rappers in the game. I speak the facts. When I come on here and I tell you that I've interviewed somebody, when I come on here and tell you I've interviewed somebody, you should damn well know that means I've done the research on them, you guys. I've done the research on them to know about their complete history. That's why I don't come on here and clout chase. That's why I don't come on here and cap. Ross was signed to Suave. Yeah, Ross was rocking with Suave House. Rick Ross was rocking with Suave House. Yep, rise to power. Wow. Wow. Yep. Wow, they actually released it after. Yep. Yeah, they actually released it after. You want to know why? Contractual obligation. Reminds me of when Ja Rule got the deal with Def Jam, and then TVT still wanted him to complete that album with 01 and Chris Black. Lyor Cohen was like, oh, hell no. You think you're getting an album out of Ja Rule, who I just turned popular? You think you're going to get an album with Ja Rule, who I just turned popular? You must be out of your mind. You must be out of your mind. Yeah, salute to Suave House, Tony Draper, and all them. They obviously see talent. You know what I mean? To be able to pick up somebody like Gillie, like Rick Ross. They've worked with a number of people, though, man. Salute to Suave House. We all know Texas had their run. And that's why, obviously, back in 06, 05, 07, whatever year it was when Ross came over there, and the earlier years when Gillie went over there, that's the reasons they went. But I know some people are like, just because you're known, being around the industry doesn't mean. But what are you talking about? Gillie Da Kid, from what he said, he got a $200,000 deal with Birdman. So it's not just about being around the industry. We're talking about getting checks in the music industry, you guys. Rick Ross didn't get no $200,000 check in 2000. Come on, let's be real. Then Gillie went on to get $1 million from Tamba Ali. Let's be real. That was independent. Remember Tamba Ali? Nobody remembers. And we don't know what he got for that movie deal. So let's be real, y'all. But let's get back into it. But let's be real, man. So Gillie went on. I'm not playing. We make more money than them. Bloggers are on top of these rappers right now. I'm getting more money than some of these rappers. I'm smoking more than some of these rappers. I smoke a Porsche. I smoke Porsche payments. If I stop smoking, I could have a Porsche. I could have the new Audi 8, i8. I'd have both those whips in the front. But you know what, man? That kush is for my lungs. Dudes is talking about we get money. I smoked your advance. Your first advance, I smoked that. What do I smoke? Some good ass shit. This is what we on today. Honey bun, baby. We on that honey bun pack. Today. What's up, Rozay? Salute to Gillie. Officer Ricky ain't about that. I mean, I'm just saying, when a dude says, appraise yourself, let's look at Gillie Da Kid's appraisal right now. Oh, Gillie's hotter than you now, Rozay. Better check yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, Rozay. Because you're putting yourself in a position right now. You're putting yourself in a position where the number one blogger in the game is fitting to make an ass out of you. You're putting yourself in a bad position, Rozay. You don't ever want to be that guy at the comedy event. You know what I'm saying? You don't ever want to be that guy at the comedy event, you guys. You don't want to be that guy at the comedy event pretty much saying, that who gets caught. You know what I mean? When you're at the comedy event, people are watching you and shit. Appreciate you, Paper Chasing, for subbing to the channel. And some bullshit right there. Some bullshit right there, I'll tell you that much. Bro, I don't need to. I got my own broadcast, bro. I got my own broadcast. Dude, this isn't about selling albums, y'all. This is not about selling albums. This is not about selling albums anymore. We're way past that. Look at what Rozay's albums are selling right now. Look at what Rozay's albums are selling right now. This is about something different. We're talking about levels of popularity. You know, I'm not talking about the fact that Rick Ross had a major deal. I'm not talking about the fact that Rick Ross had a major deal with Def Jam. He went on to get a major deal with Warner where they promoted the projects, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the fact that Rick Ross has pumped 150,000 units. You know what I mean? Rick Ross has pumped 150,000 units for 5-6 albums in a row. I'm not talking about that. You know, we know Rick Ross has had the support of the industry behind him. You know, we know that. It's obvious. He signed the deal with Jay-Z. Gillie and them, right? Gillie and them didn't sign the deal when they saw how it wasn't lucrative. They're like, yo, this deal isn't lucrative. This deal ain't right. This deal is going to leave us getting less money than we could ever get. Talking about what was it? I think it was like 50,000 a piece or something like that. Maybe it was less. Yeah, let's talk about the popularity of it. Let's talk about the fact that Gillie and Wallow are doing the biggest videos right now. The fact that Gillie and Wallow are selling out venues right now. You know, the fact that they're selling out venues right now. I'm not playing. We make more money than them. We make more money to sit down at a microphone and talk for an hour. I'm just telling the truth. We make more money than the rappers. I used to be a rapper. We make more money than the rappers. I used to be a rapper. Oh, yeah, Gil? Yeah, Gil? Bloggers is up. Bloggers is up now, Gil. Oh, we up. We up. That's why Ross is saying, yo, I want to start a podcast. I want to do a podcast. That's why I got my Mikey T, the Movie Star podcast that I appreciate y'all watching. I appreciate everybody subscribing. Gillie's like, I'm just telling the truth. We make more money than the rappers. I used to be a rapper, but the difference is we don't leave with the money. I rock a Sky Dweller Rollie that my wife bought for me. You bought me this. I don't leave with money because old dudes that leave with money, you look dumb as a bitch. Dudes be 50 years old showing watches. Old dudes got to tighten up. The old dudes need to tighten up, man. The old dudes need to tighten up. The young dudes across the world, they respect me for the dude that I'm blessed to be. That's it. I don't got to jump out with no Christian Dior. Gillie ain't popping out with no Christian Dior. Oh, Gil, didn't I see you wearing some Christian? It is what it is. It is what it is. You know, he ain't going to pop out with no Christian Dior trying to fit in. You know what I mean? Trying to make it look like he's fitting in with all the young bucks or the young bulls, as they call them in Philly. As the young bulls, they pop out and offer game. OG shit. OG. Not old guy. Not old groupie. Not old groupie. Bambada, Hassan. That's his OG, his old groupie. An OG is somebody that offers game. An OG is somebody who guarantees we gon' eat. But do we get that from Ross? Sorry, guys. I don't think we get that from Ross. Look what happened to Meek Mill. Why did Rick Ross not sign French Montana? Why did Rick Ross not sign Nipsey Hussle? Answer that question, Ross. Why did Nipsey turn down Maybach Music Group? Maybach Music Group was the hottest shit in the industry. You were signing dudes just by giving them chains. You weren't socking it to their pocket like Gillie's saying. $1 million worth of game, baby. The hottest new label. It went from MMG to $1 million worth of game. It ain't none of that other shit no more. I don't got to jump out with no Christian Dior. I could be jumping out of Wallo's minivan and it wouldn't matter. Young dudes respect me for the person I'm blessed to be. I was 20-year-old. I was 20 years old talking about how much money I was getting. I was 25 years old talking about how much money I was getting. I was 30 years old talking about how much money I was getting. When I was 30 years old, when I got locked up with 100 pounds of weed. I was 20 years old talking about how much money I was getting. I was 25 years old talking about how much money I was getting. I was 30 years old when I got locked up with 100 pounds of weed. You think I'm going to be 45 years old talking about how much money I'm getting? Who's this little dude with that tall gangster? Gillie's like, I'm about giving the young dudes game. I'm about giving the young dudes game, but I ain't never going to let no old. I don't want no trouble, man. I don't want no trouble, man. Yo, dude, who do you think you are logging into my chat making dumbass comments like that, bro? Like, who do you think you are, bro? Nobody reads your comments in all of life. Nobody reads your comments in all of life, bro. Who do you I just deleted your comment before I even finished reading it, man. Like, bro, was that your whole goal today, waking up? Well, your goal has been accomplished, man. You might as well check it off your bucket list. You got to come in and get a response from Mikey T, the movie star. You might as well check it off your bucket list because none of the other guys whose lives you pop into will ever respond to you. I'm just letting you know, man. It's got to be sad. It's got to be sad. You know, but me, I just said what I said. Now I'm going to get over it and move on with my life. But you got to take that whole little portion of your life, this whole little portion right now, this little 30 seconds, 1 minute, and you got to remember that forever. You know what I mean? Me, I'm forgetting all this when I go to my next sentence about Gillie the Kid and Ross. You, that's your life. That's it. That was your comment. You left it. It is what it is. Enjoy your day. Hopefully you're not arguing too much, you know, with your significant other when you're going to Applebee's. Hopefully you let her buy her a Coke. You know what I mean? You don't got to split the burger and all that. You know what I'm saying? Do you, bro? But anyways, I'm about giving these young dudes game. But I ain't never going to let no old, like Gillie, like he said, he was on some drinks. He's like, I don't want no trouble, man. Ain't no beef. But I said an awful lot. No, I didn't say an awful lot. I just spoke my mind. And honestly, I don't give a F how no dude feels. I don't want no beef, though. The reality is, though, these dudes don't want no beef either. Don't speak on me. I don't speak on dudes. I smoke my weed. I mind my business. I don't speak on no dudes. I mind my business. And that's what real dudes do. And for all y'all on here, leave that dumb shit alone. Leave that alone. I'm not thinking about that. I'm in London. With this bad mother that I've been with for 25 years. 25 years. Now, Rick Ross did an interview as well. And I want to go over this one point where he was making a comparison. He was making a comparison. He said, it's just like building a Chevy. I had a raggedy Chevy. My first one. The interior needed to be done. The motor wasn't no good. 5 years later, that was one of the meanest cars in the city. If I see you and your shit ain't right, I'm not going to go talk down. I'm not going to talk down. So Ross is saying he's not going to talk down to anybody. But the problem is The problem is you're not even going to talk to anybody at all. You see, that's the major problem. The major problem is how you ignore people. That's what the major problem is. You even said it yourself the other day, wake up and appraise yourself. Because when that appraisal comes in, like you got some houses. Let's say you got some houses that are now like $600,000, $750,000. Wait a few years, the market goes up. Next thing you know, they're worth 900,000, 1.1. It's called an appraisal. Your appraisal's up. Your money's up. That's when Rick Ross wants to talk to you. When your weight is up. We didn't see Rick Ross going out and talking to the nappy-headed, the braids all messed up, couldn't get his hair situated, going out in the same tank top, Meek Mill. We didn't see him go reach out to that Meek Mill. Sorry, you guys. I'm just being real. He didn't go get the Meek Mill that was in the mud, riding around on his bike, making flips. He didn't go get that guy. He went and got the guy that already had a relationship with T.I. He went and got the guy whose record Rozay Red was spinning all over the radio stations, man. Let's be 100% real when we see this shit. We all remembers the videos that we would see of Meek Mill when he was younger. And Gillie got his years a little bit flipped up because I think it was a few years after that, 19, when he dealt with Rick Ross, a few years after. But yeah, I mean, obviously we know Rick Ross's biggest success was Meek Mill. You know what I mean? Obviously we know that. That's no question whatsoever. That's the point. That is the absolute point of having an artist. I want to put up another poll. It's an interesting poll. I want to know, who do you think is the best artist protege? Like, who's the best artist to come from another one? And I'm putting this poll up in regard to Lloyd Banks, which is our next topic. That's right. Who is the best artist protege? Kanye West, to Jay-Z, Lloyd Banks to 50 Cent. So who do we got? We got Kanye West to Jay-Z, Lloyd Banks to 50 Cent. We also got Meek Mill to Rick Ross. And there was one more that I was thinking of that I wanted to put. That's right, Snoop Dogg to Dr. Dre. Those are the ones that I wanted to do. So I got, who is the best artist protege? Who is the best artist protege? I want y'all. Oh, that's sad, man. That shit happened a year ago, bro. That's pretty sad for you that you're still going on with that. BDG says, Gillie Da Kid was locked up for 100 pounds. Rick Ross was a correction officer. Rick Ross says he was a drug dealer. Gillie's charges show that he was doing. What more proof do you need? Facts. Facts. Oh, yeah, my bad, 10-sidery. My bad, brother. I didn't mean to offend anybody with saying that. You know what I mean? That's just pretty much what they would say about Meek Mill's hair back in the day. I didn't mean to offend anybody with that shit, man. To be 100% real with you, man. So my bad, 10-sidery. Oh, say what you want about Rick Ross. Say what you want about Rick Ross, but dudes got to go back to their 9 to 5 tomorrow. I mean, Jamal, people are going to have their opinions. You know what I mean? A lot of people fell back from Rick Ross when all that shit came out about him being a correctional officer. But in all honesty, a lot of people got in tune with his music. You know what I mean? A lot of people got in tune with his music because of the fact that it was good. You know what I mean? He was really impressing people with Magnificent. You know what I mean? He was really impressing people with the records that he had to offer. I can't lie. Yeah, you already know 10-sidery, man. My bad about that, G's. And thank you for checking me on it, bro, too. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like the description, you know what I mean, since watching Meek Mill from back in the day. But I never mean to offend anybody on my channel, y'all. I really appreciate everybody tuning in, watching me live, covering the news. You know what I mean? I really do. And salute to London, man, for tapping in all the way from London. Gillie and Mac and Cheese and all of them were actually just out in London. I'm not sure if they're still there. Mr. Derek says, so if everybody knows Rick Ross is a CEO, why does hip hop support him then? Is it safe to say being on the other side of the law is cool? The thing is, Derek, Rick Ross had steady support. You know what I mean? Rick Ross had steady support before anybody knew about the CEO. You know, anybody knew about the correctional officer rumors or allegations or truth, however you want to spin it. So the fact is, he gained a fan base. You're not going to lose all your fan base. You know what I mean? We still even got people to this day, you know, little kids, you know, 15 teenagers and shit like that saying that they rock with 6ix9ine because they don't care about that other shit. You know what I mean? Look what happens. We've seen a whole packed out stadium in Brazil or wherever it was. You know what I mean? Because they don't necessarily care about that. What they care about is the music. What they care about is the energy. You know what I mean? That's what they really care about in reality. That's what they look at, you know. Now, Ross certainly did lose some fans as well. He lost some fans for sure. Anybody that goes up against 50 Cent is going to lose some fans. You know what I mean? But the fact is, he gained fans because of that good music he was putting out, because of the artist he was picking up. He expanded his roster at that point in time. You know what I mean? He expanded by adding Meek Mill, Wale, you know, Pill. He expanded when he got that new record deal. He got a new record deal over at Warner. I mean, I know they moved him over to Atlantic. Loading says, in all honesty, do you think Ross is a boss? Keep grinding, bro. Yeah, I mean, the guy has a record label. You can't deny what Rick Ross has, or excuse me, had a record label. He had a very thriving record label. Now he's sort of transitioned more into owning businesses. Now he's transitioned more into endorsements and lucrative partnerships. I'm surprised Rick Ross didn't have his own boss, Ciroc. You know what I mean? The boss Berry Ciroc or whatever. Maybe the boss Banana. What would Ross's? What would it would be the pear. It'd be the pear, right? The pear. Get that boss pear. Or do they already have a pear Ciroc? Yep, BDG. Yeah, you're right. People do want to hear good music, but we also want to hear the truth. Yeah, that's why so many rappers, you know, that came up from that lifestyle were able to, because we want a peek into the window. You know what I mean? We want to feel that reality. Rick Ross, we didn't know. We didn't know with Rick Ross, you guys. We didn't know. He came in with Every Day I'm Hustling. I mean, come on. 50 Cent came in with In the Club. There's a big difference with Every Day I'm Hustling and In the Club. In the Club is a pop-friendly sounding record. I'm a Hustler makes it sound like you're moving weight. You know what I mean? It makes you sound like you're in the game. You know, like 50 honestly wasn't coming in trying to. He did have Wankster before that, but. It's all good, E-Money Bags. I appreciate you adding to the chat conversation, man. So, Lloyd Banks spoke on 50. We got to go over it, you guys. Banks spoke on 50, you guys. Lloyd Banks did an interview, a couple interviews. I guess he did an interview with GQ. He did an interview with Joe Budden. Lloyd Banks is doing his thing right now, man. Lloyd Banks is certainly doing his thing. I got to show him some love because I'm going to be reviewing The Course of the Inevitable. The Course of the Inevitable 2. I will be doing a track-by-track review on the channel. Yeah, that's right. Stay tuned for that, you guys. So Banks was asked about his relationship with 50 Cent, Tony Yayo. He said, it's the same. We're brothers. We came into this together. We're never all going to be doing the same thing at the same time at this point in our careers. Yeah. You know, The Course of the Inevitable 2 is out right now. The Course of the Inevitable 2 is out right now, you guys. That's right. The Course of the Inevitable 2 is out right now, and I'm going to be doing a review on it shortly, y'all. I just wanted to let everybody know that. I will have a review of The Course of the Inevitable out in the next few days, maybe even tomorrow. just stay tuned. You want to make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you never miss any of my content, you guys. I don't want y'all missing the content. I need y'all to stay fresh and up to date, man. Plus, it's a whole lot of knowledge going around in here. Me giving it, y'all giving it, and us embracing it, man. What's up? What's up? Appreciate everybody tapping in. Appreciate everybody tapping in. That's right. You are now rocking with the most live, interactive YouTube channel. You're now rocking with the most live, interactive hip-hop podcast, the Mikey T, the Movie Star podcast. Let's get it. Merritt says, I remember Lazy Lloyd. I remember Lazy Lloyd. Mikey T, whatever happened to Maybach Dice on MMG? Well, the major thing was that Smurf never came home. E-Money Bags. Rest in peace, E-Money Bags. The major thing was that Smurf never came home to pretty much lead the way, to basically stamp that situation with Rick Ross. With Bangham not coming home, it always was kind of a situation where, okay, well, you're not going to be around like that, really, since Bangham's not around making it so that you're here. That was kind of where the whole thing fell off. And then after that, Meek Mill and Wale just shot through the roof. And at that point, Rick Ross didn't really go back to building his own stars. In the beginning, Rick Ross had a group, the Triple C's, with Gunplay, Young Breed, and Torch. He also had Mass Pike Miles, an R&B singer. And then he took on the relationship with Bangham, Smurf, and Maybach Dice. So technically, we were the first solo act rocking with MMG from a rap perspective. Yeah, we were the first act. But then I just saw the writing on the wall. Meek Mill and Wale came out, and they were so big. You know what I mean? For a while, guys were kind of sticking around. Well, I'll say this. Dice's loyalty to Rick Ross never wavered. You know what I mean? Dice's loyalty to Rick Ross never wavered. And that's why you'll still see Dice pop up at Rick Ross's house, taking pictures with Young Thug, bowling in the Maybach Music, bowling alley and shit like that. That's why you'll see shit like that pop up. But, a lot of people say it's because of the snitching rumors that Doggy Diamonds actually put out with a guy named Ox, who wasn't even on the scene for much longer after that. I don't know what happened to Ox. You know what I mean? I think he actually got locked up, but I'm not really sure the reasoning behind it. A lot of people will put it on based on that, but I'm just giving you guys the real. The fact that Smurf didn't get to come home. You know what I mean? The fact that Smurf never got to come home, we didn't get to go run around on tours with Ace Hood and DJ Khaled. You know what I mean? We didn't get to run around with all the other MMG guys and go hit the scene like that. Otherwise, I was really going to be utilized. That's where I was really putting my eggs in that basket. You know what I mean? I was putting my eggs in that basket, but it never materialized. You know what I mean? It never materialized. And then you got Gunplay and shit saying, yo, why didn't you do anything to MMG when they got it, to G Unit when they got at me? What do you mean? There's no real paperwork with Feed the Wolves and MMG for dudes to be getting locked up for protecting you, bro. What are you even talking about, man? Dudes is putting their life on the line when there's not even any real paperwork. Like, come on, miss me with that shit, man. Miss me with that shit, bro. And y'all know, man, I'll put it all on the line, but I need to be shown that same love, and that I need to be reciprocated that same love and that same loyalty. I'll put it all on the line. So Banks is like, it's the same. We're brothers. We came into this together, and we're never all going to be the same. We're never all going to be doing the same thing at the same time at this point in our careers. Well, yeah, that pretty much happens when a group blows up, especially when they're not really a group. When a group actually blows up and there's 4 different individual members, 5 different individual members, and they're all putting out solo albums as well as group efforts, they're going to get pulled in so many different directions. We saw that happen when Young Buck was actually doing a tour. He was actually touring with throw some D's on that bitch. Who is that? Rich Kid or something like that? Rich, I always forget his name because there's so many Rich Kids, Rich the Boy, Rich the Kid, all that type of shit, man. You know what I mean? But Young Buck was already on a tour when 50, you know what I mean? When 50 actually wanted Young Buck to, yo, enough of that tour in the South. We got to go to Asia. We got an Asian tour. And we're going to finish the Terminate on Sight album. I need you to come out there. I need you to come out with me and work on this project, Buck. Enough of you doing whatever you're doing in the South. Buck is like, yeah, Rich Boy. Thank you, Amir. Rich Boy. So Rich Boy and him are touring, and Buck is pretty much saying, screw that. I'm not going to go with G-Unit, which makes no sense to me unless Buck was really still having a I want to say a passport issue, or I want to say a traveling issue because of the fact that he had gotten into that scuffle at the Vibe Awards. But come on, man. This is 50 we're talking about, you guys. This is the G-Unit General. 50 Cent. Fitty. Boo Boo. You know what I mean? He could have got Buck on that tour. Yo, big difference with TOS and Beg for Mercy, bro. Like you said, TOS was solid, E-Money. And then you said Beg for Mercy was too. Well, to me, Beg for Mercy was a classic. And to me, TOS was average. You know what I mean? Average at best. Yep, Amir, you're right. The group was originally 50 Banks and Yayo, but they're just so popular now. You know what I mean? They're so popular now that Banks is right. They can never be at the same spot. They can never be at the same spot. They can never be in the same venue unless it's a booking decision. You know, they've all just got so much going on, whether it's family obligations, whether it's touring, whether it's different shoots, whether it's studio, movies, whatever. They all just have obligations. Banks is like, the last conversation I had with 50 was basically him telling me to get whatever I left out there because some hiatuses were planned and some weren't. So that statement right there from 50 to Banks, get whatever I have left out there. To me, that statement says 50 knew there was a lot out there left for Lloyd Banks to actually get in the music industry. There's a whole lot of money. That's what I call it. I call it money left on the table. I think we all know in the 50 and Lloyd Banks situation, there was a lot of money left on the table, whether it was Banks taking a hiatus when he was having family issues, or whether it was the Beamer, Benz, or Bentley record just not being pushed to the extent that it should have. You know what I mean? For the fact that that album got released on a minor label, the fact that that label, like an independent label, I think it was EMI at the time, released Hunger for More Part 2. It's like, are you kidding me, 50? You are the businessman of all businessmen. You know what I mean? You are the businessman of all businessmen. Why is Lloyd Banks' album with a banger like Beamer, Benz, or Bentley? And, you know, honestly, you guys, did anybody out there hear the rumors of Hunger for More 2 dropping on Def Jam or anything like that before 50, I guess, convinced Lloyd Banks? So now let's look at the difference between the advice. 50 convinces Lloyd Banks to stay with EMI back in the day to release Beamer, Benz, or Bentley when he actually had a record that was going to go crazy. And then he actually tells him now, go get everything that you left out there. Why didn't you bring him to a label when he had Beamer, Benz, or Bentley? Why didn't you bring him to Def Jam? Why didn't you bring him to Universal? Why didn't you bring him back to Jimmy Iovine, for crying out loud? Why didn't you bring him to Eminem? You know, a lot of people out there say, who was saying something about this recently? Why would you do it? Oh, Boosie was saying it about Blue. I could have brought Blue to any single label that I wanted to. And I know 50 could have brought Lloyd Banks to any single label he wanted to. But 50 really thought that the independent thing on Caroline, whatever the hell it was going to work. Dubai is in the building. Salute to Dubai. Yo, let everybody in Dubai know Mikey T, the movie star, sends his love, man. Love to get out there one day to Dubai and see what it's really like. Oh, yeah, Merritt. I remember how Banks technically left the Big Withdraw album, which went on to become known as the Rotten Apple Project. He left the Big Withdraw. But, you know, my question was Get Low really going to be the single for the Big Withdraw? Do you think so? Do you guys think that Get Low, which was then featured on the Get Rich or Die Tryin' soundtrack, was going to be featured on the Big Withdraw? So, but Banks went on. He said, but I can't sit and cry about spilled milk. I've got to go out there and make it happen. We did something special that will never be done again. Honestly, there are more positive moments than anything else. That's where I'm at with it. We're brothers, and it's always going to be that way. Good to hear from Lloyd Banks. Good to hear from Lloyd Banks that he feels that him, 50, and Yayo are going to be brothers for life. Appreciate that, hearing it from him, because a lot of blogs go off with all the, oh, is Banks dissing 50? Banks diss 50, this, that, and the third. Another issue came up from 50's book, where 50 wrote in the book Hustle Harder. 50 actually said that he was like, he spoke on teaching Lloyd Banks, Tony Yayo. He said how to evolve and change their habits. 50 actually said they had unfulfilled potential. While I was out hustling, Banks was more content staying on his porch and watching the world from there. Banks wanted things to come to him as opposed to going out and getting them for himself. Listen to that, you guys. Listen to that. Banks wanted things to come to him. That's kind of what it seemed like for his whole career, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Once 50 Cent gave them guys that level of fame, they all sort of just sat there and waited for it to come to them. But that's where you're going to go wrong in this industry. Yayo, we all love you as an artist. You know what I mean? But if you're just going to sit and wait for it to come to you, it is never going to come. That's not how you make it in this industry. You do not sit and wait for things to come to you. Look what happened. You were passed by Max B. You were passed by French Montana. All these guys passed you by. All these major opportunities. 50 Cent, 50's getting all this money off these rap shows. You could have got money off of French Montana and Max B, yo. You know what I mean? It's called business direction. Have some sense of business direction when you got this guy like 50 Cent. 50's Lloyd Banks spoke about why he didn't work with 50 back in the day. Lloyd Banks said, I think it was in the Joe Budden interview, he was like, oh, back in the day, my material really wasn't matching up with theirs. Well, in Hustle Harder, 50 said that you were watching him on the porch and watching the world from your porch. You know what I mean? So which one is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, which one is it, man? Was it your lyrical content? Or was it the fact that you were watching the world from the porch? And I don't know why watching the world from your porch would affect the lyrical content. As people always say about Nas, he watched the streets from his window, and he's been able to give us amazing stories. So Banks, how would your lyrical content not really match up with 50's? I'm not understanding that. If you're sitting there and watching it from that porch. So 50 went on. He's like, Banks wanted things to come to him as opposed to going out there and getting them for himself. And what did Banks say just a little bit earlier, you guys? He's like, I can't sit and cry over spilled milk. I've got to go out there and make it happen. We did something special that will never be done again. What's up with all this shit about it will never be done again? What's up with all this shit like it wasn't done before, like the NWA didn't do it, like Death Row didn't do it, like Bad Boy didn't do it, like G-Unit didn't do it, like Dipset didn't do it? Like what? What are you trying to say, Banks? Like it's never been done before. Da, 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 da. Like what? Bro, it's been done before. It's been done before a lot bigger. Lil Wayne did it with Cash Money, for crying out loud. They even put out 3 successful projects. I mean, I guess 50 did as well because you got Game, Banks, and Buck. Like, come on, let's just be real talking about, let's be real talking about, yo, man, it's never going to be done again. Come on, man. Miss me with that. It's never going to be done again. Shit, man. Never going to be done again. My ass. Someone's going to do it again. Everybody does it again every 5 years. Rick Ross did the same thing right after you guys. Everybody wanted to be Murder Inc. before it was G-Unit. You selling a book, Banks? I'm just keeping it real, you guys. I got nothing wrong with Banks. I think he's an amazing artist. I'm just being real. I don't got no issue with Banks. I'm just being real. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like, for everybody to come out here and just keep on, oh, yo, it's never going to be done like this again. Like, what? It's literally happens again and again and again every 5 years. Some labels don't get it right. You know, the Lunatics didn't get it right. You know, Game didn't get it right with the Black Wall Street. You know what I mean? Some people don't get it right. You know, not everybody gets it right. Let's be being real. Rick Ross definitely did it. You kidding me right now? Rick Ross released more Maybach Music albums than 50 did G-Unit albums. Come on, man. Don't tell me I'm hating when I'm just keeping it real. Don't tell me I'm hating when I'm just keeping it real. Rick Ross released Rick Ross released Meek, Wale, Stolly, Gunplay. He technically released more albums than 50. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Let's be real. I got love for both groups, man. I got love for all the people that I'm talking about tonight. Maybach Music has been there. Like I'm saying, people wanted to be a part of Maybach Music so bad. They wanted that chain for so bad. People wanted to be a part of G-Unit for so bad. People wanted to be a part of Murder Inc. so bad. Let's not lie to ourselves, you guys. Let's just be real. I'm not on here to fake the funk. You know what I mean? I'm not on here to not tell you how it really was. Just like, how are them albums aging? How are them albums aging? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now, dude? Meek Mill has one of the best catalogs in history of music. Wale's catalog is better than any of the G-Unit catalogs. Let's be real here. Wale's catalog is better than any G-Unit catalog that exists. Let's be real. Let's be real, man. Meek Mill's catalog is double the length. Meek Mill's catalog is double the length of Lloyd Banks. Wale is not trash, bro. Wale is an amazing artist. I was just in Philly last week, bro. Did you miss me out there? I was actually just in Philly last week doing a couple interviews. Hell no, I'm not out of bud, bro. We talking shit. I do my music. I do my music reviews, you guys. It's not all about smoking weed. I got some chronic ready to roll up, but I'm more focused on this music review tonight. Bro, at least Stolly got an album out. You know what I mean? At least Stolly got an album out, bro. Hot Rod didn't get to drop an album. Spider-Loc didn't get to drop an album. MOP didn't get to drop an album. Olivia didn't get to drop an album. You know what I'm saying? Do I need to go on? Like, come on. Governor didn't get to drop an album. Do I need to go on about all the G-Unit projects? It's almost as long as Dr. Dre's list, you guys. But I'm only keeping it real here. You know what I mean? I'm only keeping it real. People can disguise it with hate, but I'm just on here talking about facts. Too Rich said Rick Ross made classic. G-Unit was trash. Everybody but Buck. Yeah, Buck's album was amazing. Young Buck's, both of his albums were great. You know what I mean? Both the Young Buck's albums. Yeah. Exactly. That's why I was saying there's been other labels that have done it bigger than G-Unit since G-Unit. That's the only reason I was sort of dissecting that quote from Lloyd Banks, you guys. That's the only reason I was dissecting that quote from Lloyd Banks, because, like, look what Lil Wayne did when he got together and started Young Money with Birdman. Even though he got epically screwed, they put out Drake, they put out Nicki, they put out Tyga. You know what I mean? And I'm having a hard time figuring out who's more popular, Tyga or Young Buck, but it's definitely a comparison. Yeah, Buck's music was great. I agree with you. Buck's music was great. Gunplay sold 1,000 records first week. Stale's album sold 15,000 records first week. Do you even know the sales, bro? Because I know the sales off the top of my head. Where's Kid's the homie? Kid's the homie. Kid's the homie. Salute to Kid. So 50 said Banks wanted things to come to him. Don't we all? As opposed to going out and getting them for himself. As opposed to going out and getting them for himself. That's not me trying to assassinate his character. That's not me trying to assassinate his character. The guy has Lazy Lloyd tattooed on his arm. He literally wears his laziness on his sleeve. Sometimes that's kind of just a character. Sometimes, man, don't ever, bro, get your little bitch ass out of my life, first of all. Buck's still dropping fire. I don't know about that, bro. I haven't really been invested in Young Buck's music since like 2008. Honestly, I haven't been invested in Young Buck's music for over 10 years. Bro, Wale's catalog is better than Lloyd Banks' catalog. Go do the freaking research, dude. Lloyd Banks' first album sold 440,000 first week. Lloyd Banks' second album sold 150,000 first week. Lloyd Banks' third album sold 50,000 first week. Lloyd Banks' fourth album, The Course of the Inevitable, sold 12,000 first week. So what do you want, bro? Like, I know the facts. Just because you're a G-Unit stan, Mark, the thing about Stolly, not Stanley, bro, you're hilarious. And Yayo did not go platinum on house arrest. He sold like 700,000. Get your facts right, bro. Stolly. Yeah. Anyways, I was talking about Stolly. Stolly's project came because Meek Mill got locked up. Yeah, Stolly's project actually came because Meek Mill got locked up, you guys. So it was kind of like out of the blue that Stolly released an album. Yeah, Mark. That's what I'm trying to tell people. But I mean, I'm not I've been following Lloyd Banks' career since 2003, 2002. You know what I mean? I've been following his career since then, before he dropped the solo album. I've been following Lloyd Banks' career since then. Go look at the albums. You need me to bring up the albums? Do I need to go bring up Wale's albums? Wale. Plus, Wale makes better girl music than Lloyd Banks. He makes better music for the chicks. You know what I mean? He makes better love songs for the chicks. Let's be real. Lotus Flower Bomb is way better than Karma. Let's be 100% real. Bad is way, way better than Help. Let's just be real, guys. Or no, Bad is way better than Smile. Let's be real, you guys. Like, come on. I'm just being real here. So he had Lloyd, Wale has 3, 6, 7 albums. Wale has 7 albums. Lloyd Banks has 3, 4 albums. The first one, bro. The first one, Neighborhood All-Star. That was the first one. 440,000 copies first week. Sometimes they say it's 536,000 copies first week worldwide. I Don't Deserve You, great record. Help, also with Carrie Hilson, another great record. Yeah, but Wale has the chick records, you guys. Ambition, let's see what Ambition did first week. I know it was only a little over 100,000. 164,000 copies for Ambition. Florin, his second album with MMG. Let's see how much his second album with MMG did. Can I get some sales here? Come on, give me some sales. Wale, first week sales. Oh, damn. Oh, no, that's Wow, That's Crazy. Wow, That's Crazy is the number 7. Yeah, he's had a shitload of albums, man. The Gifted, 2013. The Gifted sold 158,000 copies first week. No, I'm just comparing them because that's what Wale is known for. Girl records. Wale. All right, yo, you're out of here, bro. You're out of here, man. I don't got enough time to go back and forth with you, bro. Mark says, Banks just dropped an album in 10 years. Well, Banks actually dropped The Course of the Inevitable 1 last year. Banks dropped The Course of the Inevitable 1 last year. And he said at that point in time, he was really going to start working again. He was really going to start getting back into it again. But 50 Cent failing Lloyd Banks. 50 Cent failing Lloyd Banks, y'all. 50 Cent actually felt like he did too much for him. You know, he said, I'm done writing the hooks. I'm done writing the hooks. He said that G-Unit had that unfilled potential, the unfulfilled potential. He said, while I was out hustling, Banks was more content staying on his porch and watching the world from there. Banks wanted things to come to him as opposed to going out and getting them for himself. So 50's going to let all this unfulfilled potential weigh in. I'm sure he did for a while. I mean, coming into the game with Lloyd Banks, selling 530,000 plus units, going gold in your first week out. Lloyd Banks should have been the hottest new rapper on the scene. Lloyd Banks should have had an album out in 2005. Lloyd Banks should have had an album out in 2006. Lloyd Banks should have been releasing albums just like Ja Rule. The man sold more than Ja Rule first week. He sold more. JP, Meek Mill took Lloyd Banks' spot. I'm just being real. Thank you, Will. Appreciate that, man. Damn right. I lived through it. I go back and I reread it. You know what I mean? Neighborhood says Lloyd is way more lyrical than Wale and Meek Mill. But you know what, man? It's all about making songs this day and age. It's all about making songs this day and age. Lloyd Banks came out with On Fire in 2004. Lloyd Banks came out with On Fire in 2004. And what did he follow it up with in 2006? He followed it up with the part 2, On Fire part 2. And this time it was called Hands Up. That could have been a reason. Nah, Meek Mill's good now, famo. Meek Mill's pretty good now. You know, Meek Mill saw the fact that he only made 11 out of 100 million. Meek Mill only made 11 out of 100 million in the last 10 years. Meek Mill said, I'm going to make 11 million on my next project. I'm going to make 11 million on my first project. Let me take a look at the poll. I just put up a pretty great poll. I want to know who's the best protege in the game. Yeah, Hands Up was dope. I actually liked Hands Up more than On Fire, Madden. Do you think I'm wild for that? Does anybody in the chat think I'm wild for liking Hands Up more than On Fire? I just think it was kind of a thing where the people were like, yo, you're giving us the same thing again? You're giving us that same combo again? Like you just came at us with On Fire and Warrior. Now you're coming at us with Hands Up and Cake. Like you're pretty much giving us the same element. You got to kind of like change it up a little bit, man. First of all, when you look at 50's first 2 albums, he totally did a total flip on The Massacre. Yeah, I love Help with Carrie Hilson, and I like I Don't Deserve You as well. Yeah. Fresh out of jail. All right, but Game God. But his 700,000, Tony Yayo wanted to sell 700,000 in 1 week. He wanted to sell 700,000 in 1 short week, but he ended up selling 700,000 in like 6. Banks had no support. Yeah, once Banks moved on to the independent level, Banks had no support, Howard. I really think that Lloyd Banks, when he released Beamer, Benz, or Bentley, he should have took that over to a major label, you know? Massacre was great. Massacre was great. Get Rich or Die Trying, damn near perfect. You know what I mean? Damn near perfect. The Massacre was great. Now, Curtis was certainly mid, bro. Curtis was certainly mid. That album was a disappointment. That album should have never come. That album should have never come out at that point in time. That album was supposed to be, we all know what that album was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Before I Self-Destruct. A lot of people say, yeah, yep. Wale's first CD, Attention Deficit. Yep, his first CD, Attention Deficit, with Interscope, I believe, with a feature from Lady Gaga. With a feature from Lady Gaga. Let me know if it was Warner or Interscope. I'm pretty sure it was Interscope, though. Curtis was definitely weak. But yeah, Wale's first CD. And that's why Wale's whole career is not a flop, bro. Please don't put that on Wale. Wale found a lane, and Wale excelled in that lane. Wale has released like 7 or 8 albums, whatever I said just a few minutes ago. And that's actually double the catalog of any G-Unit artist. So come on, like, miss me with that shit. Like, I'm just on here trying to speak this shit. I know we got a lot of G-Unit fans. I'm a big G-Unit fan too. You know what I mean? I know the whole history of G-Unit, man. I'm not on here to hate on Banks. We're on here to talk about the question, did 50 Cent fail Lloyd Banks? You know what I mean? Did he fail Lloyd Banks when Lloyd Banks came back with Beamer, Benz, or Bentley? And then 50 didn't bring that to Universal? 50 didn't bring that to Jimmy? I know you're beefing with Jimmy. Bring him a hit. You didn't bring that to Larry Jackson? You didn't bring that to anybody? You didn't bring it to anybody? Was there other people you couldn't bring it to? I know you couldn't bring it to Puff. Let's be real about this shit, man. Guy releases Beamer, Benz, or Bentley, the hottest single in the city. The hottest single in the city. That album should have been on Def Jam, man. That album should have been on Def Jam. And then he releases the album with 50. He releases the album with 50 in EMI, and he gets absolutely no promotion. He gets absolutely no promotion. And now we got 50 writing in his book. Yep. Yeah, Neighborhood All-Star. You see, Wale kept the momentum. Tell me what the next album did, bro. Tell me what the album after The Gifted did. Because Lloyd Banks' album after Rotten Apple sold 50,000 copies. Lloyd Banks' album after The Hunger for More sold 150,000 copies. He had almost, what is that, a 300% decrease in sales? Come on, man. There's something wrong. There's something wrong. There is something wrong. Something happened. Something happened to Lloyd Banks' career for a man to go from selling 440,000 units. You know what I mean? To go from selling 400,000 units to 150,000 units, it says something to me. And please, I don't want to hear about the change in music, because we all know our favorite MCs have still been able to stand the test of time and sell some records. Debo says, Mikey, the problem is 50. 50 wasn't prepared for the fall off. Banks and everybody took time off when 50 fell off, so nobody was able to pick up where 50 left. Buck was the only one really holding it down. Okay. Then as long as you want to send in negative comments, I'll just keep timing you out, bro. As you see, I respond to people respectfully in my chat. Yeah, Famo. Yeah. Yep. Yep, JP. Yep, 3 times platinum. I'm pretty sure Buck was 2 times platinum. Some people try to dispute that and say he was 1.5, but I was always running with the fact that Buck was 2 times platinum. You know, Buck, nobody thought was going to sell. Nobody thought Buck was going to sell. They thought that was going to be G-Unit's first flop. I'm just being real. I remember 2004. Everyone thought that was going to be G-Unit's first flop. And if you say it's not true, you just weren't alive then. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody thought 50's first. That's why 50 probably only put that little intro on Let Me In. Get him, Book! When he came up with at the beginning of the video. Yeah. Oh, it wasn't 50's fault. 50 wasn't on the hook. 50 wasn't on the hook. Well, look what happened when 50 was on the hook for Tony Ayo's album. You know what I mean? It's not all about 50 being on the hook. It's not all about that. It's about being creative. That's what I was just talking about when I was talking about Lloyd Banks' second album pretty much having the same type of singles on it. It's like, you can't do that. You can't do that. That is going to make you look crazy, especially doing that 2.5 years later. So you're telling me you took 2 years to create an album and it's realistically the same sound? You know what I mean? A few nights ago, Waka Flocka tapped in on the channel. And one of the questions I asked Waka Flocka, because when I met Waka Flocka a few years back, a couple times, he was actually working on Flockavelli 2. So I was asking him, did Flockavelli 2 ever get to come out? Because when I saw Waka Flocka, it was a different style of album. But then after I saw Waka continue to work on it, the style of the album changed. He said it was going to go back to old original Flocka. When I was working with Flocka, he was working with a whole lot more of an EDM style. Even him and Scott Storch performed together. If you guys missed it, Waka Flocka popped on the channel the other day. You can all check on it with my message to Hassan Campbell. Yep, I'm going to be listening to that Course of the Inevitable 2, and I'm going to be doing a review on it, you guys. Yep. Rotten Apple. Rotten Apple. Second album from Lloyd Banks. Okay, Neighborhood Star. Now we're getting to it. Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty, bro. Lloyd Banks' second album, Rotten Apple. It was released October 10th, 2006. So this is literally 2 years. Excuse me. This is literally 2 years and 2 or 3 months from his debut album. That's the biggest flaw to me. The second biggest flaw is the copying of the singles from the first album. That's the second biggest flaw. Cashville did like 260,000 units first week. He did 260,000 units in his first week. And then his next album did a little 150,000, just like Banks. Nope. That was horrible, man. For Banks to go from 430,000 copies to 148,000 copies was absolutely horrible. Buck did like 260,000 first week. Yep. Buck's second album. What did they move there? 120,000 units less. Appreciate you for subscribing, Howard. Definitely appreciate that, man. Hope to see you in here on future videos, trading game and knowledge like we've been doing today. Yeah, no, you can't touch Banks' first album. You know, you can't touch Banks' first album. I guess 50 Cent saying that Lloyd Banks has Lazy Lloyd tattooed on him. Maybe that plays a factor into this whole thing. Maybe that plays into it a little bit, you guys. The fact that Lloyd Banks thought that everything was going to come to him at his beck and call, maybe. JP coming up with some good knowledge here. He says, Rotten Apple didn't sound like Hunger for More. Gilmore's, Get Clapped, Survival. No sounds like that on Hunger for More. Yeah, you could tell with Gilmore's and Survival, Banks started switching up his voice a little bit. He would use his voice to sing a little bit more. Get Clapped, I just didn't really like with Mobb Deep. Prodigy and Lloyd Banks, such good friends. You know, that he actually put Prodigy on the Rotten Apple intro as well. And I love Prodigy, man. I love Prodigy. I bought all of Prodigy's shit. I even was messing with the mixtapes. You know what I mean? Prodigy was one of my favorite rappers. And Mobb Deep, obvious, probably my favorite duo of all time. Yep. Deanie. Yep, Deanie Campos. He said, remember 50 said after their first albums, they all went from wearing G-Unit clothes to Gucci, Louis, Fendi. That fame got to them, maybe. Yeah, it really pissed 50 off when he had them all lucrative deals with G-Unit clothing, G-Unit shoes, G-Unit sneakers, you know what I'm saying? And then they all pop up to the meeting in Louis Vuitton, you know what I'm saying? All them Fendi. 50 looks under the... So I'm the only one in here wearing $50 sneakers. Okay, I see what it is. Don't you realize that you're getting paid a 6-figure deal to wear the G-Unit sneakers? Okay, so you take your 6 figures and you go spend it on designer. Let's see where the next 6 figures comes from. Let's see where it comes from. Let's see if it comes from Louis, Gucci. You know what I mean? Let's see if it comes from one of them, is what 50 pretty much did. What up? Nah, bro, you were taking shots at me. See, that's where you're misinterpreted, man. You're not making negative comments. You're making negative comments about me. And that's where I'm going to draw the line. Now, if you have comments, I'm going to read them, whether it goes against one or the other thing. But when you're trying to take a shot at me, the host of the show, when you're trying to, you know what I mean? How about you go do your own show? Go do your own show where you could share all of your own opinions. JP says, no one wants to wear that G-Unit clothing, not even 50. Yeah, apparently not even 50 Cent affiliates. Not even 50 Cent affiliates. Just cool it out, bro. Keep it positive, man. You can keep it negative too, but just 50 wanted to control them. He didn't need a label. He needed therapy. Oh, man. 50 wanted to control them. That's when you go wrong with a label. When you want to control the artist to the point where they don't blow up further than you. 50, come on, bro. You're fitting to go on to become a movie director. You're fitting to go on to become a supplier. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about in the days pre to Power of the Dollar type supplier. I'm talking about a supplier to Stars. I'm talking about a supplier to Showtown. You know what I mean? Dude, it's all good. It's all good. Just keep it moving, bro. Just keep it moving. Keep on moving. Who is that? Oh, yeah, that's Chinks. Shout out my bro Chinks. Yo, Jacob B. Appreciate you, man. Have you been watching the live, bro? Definitely appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for tapping in on this live, man. Everybody out there, just know I come with some pretty heavy work in the game. Y'all should check out my channel if you haven't before. I've done interviews with some big boys.
Lil Durk on rock with Mikey T, the movie star. You are now you're rocking, man. 300.
Yeah. I done interviews with big boys,
Lil Durk
dog.
on rock with Mikey T, the movie star. You are now you're rocking, man. 300. Lil Durk on rock with Mikey T, the movie star. You are now you're rocking, man.
300. See, that's one difference. I was never lazy. I always went out to get mine. Let me see. Did I look at Lloyd Banks as lazy? No, I did not look at Lloyd Banks as lazy. Why? Why didn't I look at Lloyd Banks as lazy, you guys? Because I heard in interviews how many shows Lloyd Banks was doing. I do believe I remember hearing Lloyd Banks in an interview say he had done over 200 shows in a year. This guy's doing 150 plus shows in a year, you guys. It showed me how much of a touring act he really was, how much money he could really bring in. And the honesty behind it is Lloyd Banks could have been a real mover for G-Unit. He really could have been an artist that just turned into the next Ja Rule. He could have been the next Ludacris. He could have been the next T.I. You know what I mean? Releasing albums every single year. 50 Cent, honestly, could have stepped back. You know what I mean? He could have stepped back. He could have stepped back and let his label work. Look at the poll. The poll that I've asked you guys today is who is the best protege? Who is the best artist that a CEO has put out? We got Kanye West to Jay-Z. We got Lloyd Banks to 50 Cent. We've got Meek Mill to Ricky Rozay. I want to know, who do you all in here think is the best protege? We got Snoop Dogg to Dr. Dre. We remember that. Dre brought Snoop into the scene, introduced him to Suge. Suge didn't really know what was up, but it turned out to be a match made in heaven. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, I guess, out of this list, I would have to say I like Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre's music the best. You know what I mean? I think Snoop and Dre honestly had the best sounding music out of any of these groups right now. I got to be real in that, because Meek and Ross, yeah, they're great together. 50 and Banks, obviously, G Unit is great together. Kanye West and Jay-Z, they've released albums together as well. So yeah, I'm going to go with Snoop and Dre as my favorite musical combo, but you got to look at the aspects, the different aspects of it. Dr. Dre put Snoop Dogg on, and he was pretty much gone after his first album. You know what I mean? Their working relationship. They did the Chronic and Doggy Style together. You know what I mean? They did the Chronic and Doggy Style together, and I wish we could have watched their careers played out much longer. You know what I mean? I wish we would have saw him do all the other albums with Dr. Dre. I hope they're actually doing a new album together, because I feel like their sound, to me, it's just like that G-Funk era is just pretty much one of my favorite eras of hip hop. You know what I mean? I know it kind of died down. The last one really doing it was Daz Dillinger, but man, that sound is just, there's nothing that can compare to G-Funk to me. Probably my favorite style of music. So then we got Meek Mill and Rozay. We got to look at that situation, because Meek Mill would actually go on to eclipse Ricky Rozay, you guys. Meek Mill would actually go on to become a bigger star than Ricky Rozay. And that's kind of the point. That's the point of this. When we look at 50 and Lloyd, it's the opposite. It's the exact opposite. Lloyd Banks did not go on to become a bigger star than 50 Cent. Kanye West and Jay-Z is another interesting one as well, just because of how much talent there is there. So let me take a look at the polling numbers. I want y'all to vote in this poll if you haven't yet. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't yet. And also subscribe to the channel. We are on the way to 100,000 subs, you guys. You'll see it when I get that plaque. You'll see it when I get that plaque. It'll be right up behind me, the 100,000 subscriber plaque. Tech says Rick Ross is irrelevant now. He clout chases on IG these days. And Tech, I was actually bringing up that point a little bit earlier when we were speaking on Gillie and Rick Ross going at it. You know, that's why I feel like Gillie has the advantage on Ross right now, because Ross is clout chasing or posting on Instagram, however you want to look at it. But Gillie's reach on Instagram is just that much more. You know what I mean? Gillie's reach on Instagram is at an all-time high right now. You know, I literally hit Gillie and I'm like, yo, if you just do X, Y, and Z, the whole city, this whole city is going to be on your back. You know what I mean? Gillie really has that presence in the hip hop community these days. Rick Ross, he had his fame. You know what I mean? He had his fame a few years back. You know what I mean? It all kind of, hate to say it, but yeah, that Stolly album followed up by the Hood Billionaire really was the beginning of the downfall for MMG when Meek Mill got locked up. They, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, they should have still released Meek Mill's album, even though he was not out to promote it. Even though Meek Mill was incarcerated, they still should have released his album rather than release Stolly's album out of nowhere. The people just weren't ready for it. Gillie Da Kid called Rick Ross a cop. Yeah, he said, yo, you are a CO, not to be confused with a CEO, you guys. Not the chief executive. He is that, whatever. But we're talking about the correctional officer. We're talking about the correctional officer, not the CEO, not what he is of Maybach Music, whatever is left of Maybach Music. You know what I mean? Because I'm not even really sure if while Meek or Wale are over there. I'd have to look at the most recent albums. I'm not really sure what's going on at MMG. I know Ross just released an album, right? It was called Richer Than I Ever Been. Don't think it really did all that great. The album before that didn't do all that great either. You know what I mean? Stolly's album was fire. Famo says, yeah, the album was called Ohio. Yep, I remember the album came out. But my only issue was that they replaced it with Meek Mill's album. That was honestly not a good move, especially when you're building an artist up. You know what I mean? To throw him out in front of everybody before he's ready. You know what I mean? Mr. Colossus says the best artist protege is Memphis Bleek to Jay-Z. Shout out to Memphis Bleek. That's my guy right there. You know, Bleek gave me an opportunity to interview him back in the day when he was first starting Warehouse Music Group with Debo, True Life's brother. They had paired together. They had gone on to pick up Manolo Rose and Casanova. And that's when I first linked up with Memphis Bleek. What a memorable experience too, you know, to shoot an interview with Bleek and then for Bleek to be like, damn, Mikey T, that was my best interview. I'm like, what? Yo, don't gas me up, dog. Don't gas me up like that, dog. No, this is my best interview I've ever done. What? Memphis Bleek telling me that? That's the reason I do this shit, you guys, to make memorable content, y'all. It's not for any other reason. It's not for any other reason. Whatever happened to Triple C's, you know, for a while they were promoting their second album. You know, they were going to do a second album. Was the second one going to, no, the second one was going to be called Color Clarity. The first one was Custom Cars and Cycles. So I guess they were going with a C, a triple C type thing, all words that spell with the letter of C. So yeah, Triple C's, they didn't drop another album because of the fact that Maybach Music started to blow up so much. You know what I mean? And when Maybach Music blew up with Meek and Wale both selling over 100,000 units first week, they realized they couldn't put out another album that was going to sell 15,000 copies first week. You know what I mean? Kind of the same thing that happened with Murder Inc. and not wanting to release Cadillac Ty and Black Child, you know, while they had two major money makers. Eventually they went to the point of grabbing Lloyd because they thought R&B was their sound. Lloyd did all right. You know what I mean? But I honestly think Lloyd probably did just about as good as Black Child would have done if they had released his album. You know what I mean? If they had released his album at their height. Just my opinion, though. Triple C's, Gunplay, Young Breed, and Torch. Eric said them G-Unit dudes traveled all around the world and are still doing it today. Well, yeah, 50 was literally just traveling around with Uncle Murda. He was literally just traveling around with Tony Yayo as well. Yayo and Banks were actually back doing a show a few days ago. Trigger Ock, my guy Trigger Ock, was actually out at that show. He was actually out kicking it with Yayo and shit. You know what I mean? So Trigger Ock is still, and I support Trigger because I've known Trigger since like 2010. You know what I mean? And now to see that he's getting that relationship that Just Do with 50 Cent, with G-Unit and all that, you know, I got to support. You know, I see this dude come up from nothing. You know what I mean? I see this dude come up and put his work in the studio. You know what I mean? And make sure his flow can continue to develop in a positive way to the point where he can't help but continue to rap. You know what I mean? He can't help but continue to rap, you guys. Randy, what's up, bro? Appreciate you for tapping in. Debo says Meek over Banks, Wale over Yayo, and I think Buck over Gunplay. I'll agree with you on Buck over Gunplay for sure. Wale over Yayo. I mean, come on, man. Don't do that to me. Don't make me choose Wale and Tony Yayo. That's not even a good comparison. You'd have to flip it around. It would have to be, you know what I mean? Oh, is that where that was, Tech? Oh, is that the Sony Hall? That's where that was? Yeah, that's where Lloyd Banks brought Tony Yayo out. That was dope when he brought Yayo out. I actually watched that. But yeah, I always say that Meek Mill took Lloyd Banks' spot. You know what I mean? I always say that. You know what I mean? I always say that. But yeah, Wale, it's just like, actually, hold on. Let me cool out real quick, because Yayo did have Curious. Yayo had Curious. Yayo had I Know You Don't Love Me. So there can be a comparison drawn there. You know what I mean? There can be a comparison drawn there. Snoop and Dre. Yeah, Snoop and Dre. Like I said, if we're going strictly by music, I like Snoop and Dre's music more than I like Jay and Kanye, more than I like 50 and Banks, and more than I like Ross and Meek. I like their collaborations better. Those are collaborations like I'm gonna turn on. I mean, unless we're talking about like Bad News, unless we're talking about like Good to Me, all those G Unit records are just such classics, man. Tony Yayo's Handshake is better than everybody in the game. I'm gonna disagree with you. Debo, because I think Young Thugs, no disrespect to Tony Yayo, because that's my favorite rapper from G Unit and shit. Even though Yayo be thinking I hate on him and shit, he's my favorite rapper, which it is what it is. Sometimes these rappers be getting shit confused. Tony Yayo's Handshake is better than everybody in the game. I don't agree with that. I think that Young Thug and Birdman, their whole handshake thing that they was doing back in the day with all that shit that they was doing, cross my heart and hope to die type shit, stick a needle in my eye type shit. You know what I mean? Like, I think their handshake was actually cooler. I think they had the cool handshake in the game. Yayo got hits. People be playing. Let's talk about the hits. Am I missing any? So Seductive, Pimpin', Curious, I Know You Don't Love Me. Am I missing any, or are those the hits? Am I missing any? Fake Love from the Get Rich or Die Trying soundtrack. Fake Love. Rider. What is it? Rider Part 2? Nah, Debo. For real. The fans were making, like Tech said, they went crazy for Yayo. When he came on to perform the I Smell song. I smell that you, Irv. Is that you? Ja? What did Yayo say in that song? When I first met her, I did anything to get her. Paid all her bills and filled her refrigerator. Reminiscing on late nights when I would try to stay up but couldn't get off because your baby would stay up. She even crashed the whip trying to switch in the third lane. That's when I realized this bitch is a bird brain, a pigeon, writing her baby pops in the box, sitting in prison. Sing Sing is where he's bidden. She in the Gucci types and Fendi high heels. Yeah, I know that shit. But Yayo be hating, acting like it's not real. It is what it is. None of these other bloggers know the Yayo lyrics. Ain't No Click. You could consider that as well, because he could come on. He could come on the stage, the Ain't No Click, the end of it, and come on like uno, dos, tres, cuatros. My clique eats like the 12 holy apostles. He could come on like that to start off his show, maybe even end it. So yeah, Ain't No Click would fit in there. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Debo, about Lloyd Banks' statement about nobody ever did it since G Unit. Like, yo, bro, like, come on, man. People did it like G Unit. People did it on an independent scale. People did it bigger than G Unit. I just think it's kind of what everybody says, though. You know what I mean? Like, even like, let's say like Frenchie from Brick Squad, he'll be saying some shit like, oh, nobody did it like Brick Squad. It's like, bro, like, quite literally everybody did it like Brick Squad, man. Like, let's be real, man. And that's just because I'm being real about it, man. I'm not just gonna come on here and ride D without a helmet. You know what I mean? It's like it's illegal. It's illegal to ride D without a helmet. And for anybody out there who's like thinking, like, I don't know what's up with this guy, Hassan Campbell, trying to tell me who I can and who I can't interview. But it was dope to hear this word from Bimmy the other day. How to get your take on Hassan taking the route of calling me a colonizer, man? What were you?
That's crazy. That's crazy. You should say anything. That nigga Hassan Campbell called Mikey T a colonizer.
Why you call him that?
Because he's trying to say that I did an interview with Mikey T and like trying to do the race car like how this black dude like I'm selling out. You let the white man,
white man.
Make the fuck out of here. Man. Yeah.
Yep.
Mikey T, man, keep doing your thing, bro.
You see who that is right there? Hell yeah. You see who that is right there, you guys? That's Bimmy. That's Bimmy. A man who, that's the original $2 million baby. Locked up, bail, $2 million. The original $2 million baby before Max B. Bimmy telling me, Mikey T, keep on going. So I ain't listening to nothing that Hassan chump. I'm not listening to nothing that Hassan chump is saying. Because I got people out here putting on for me, people that remember having conversations with me, people that remember seeing me put in work to engrave myself into this lane, into this culture. And I'm not stopping just because somebody is hating on one of my interviews. You know what I mean? I'm not stopping just because people are hating on my interviews, you guys. Newsflash, people have hated on my interviews since day one. They have. You don't get nowhere if you focus on somebody hating. You got to continue. You got to have persistence, drive, consistency. You think people didn't hate on me when I was doing interviews with 40 Glock and Bang'em Smurf? Well, I ended up on the cover of magazines doing interviews like that, you guys. I take a lot of pride in my work, y'all, and I really appreciate people out there who remember the work that I've done in the grind and the times that we've spoken. And Bimmy showed me that because he was with 10 Toes Down and Bimmy spoke up. Bimmy spoke up for me, you guys, and it was amazing. It was amazing to see an OG, a top, and you know, an OG isn't just an old guy. It's not just an old guy. It's somebody that's offering game. Listen to this game. Listen to this game that Bimmy offered me, and I took this shit, and I'm running with this shit, and I'm going to keep on working every day.
That nigga Hassan Campbell called Mikey T a colonizer.
Why you call him that?
Because he's trying to say that I did an interview with Mikey T and like trying to do the race car like how this black dude like I'm selling out. You let the white man, white man. Make the fuck out of here. Man. Yeah.
Yep.
Mikey T, man, keep doing your thing, bro.
Hell yeah, I appreciate it.
It's a big world, man. This world for everybody, man. This world ain't built for this one man. It's built for all men. You know what I mean?
How this black dude like I'm selling out. You let the white man, white man. Make the fuck out of here. Man. Yeah.
Yep.
Mikey T, man, keep doing your thing, bro.
Hell yeah, I appreciate it.
It's a big world, man. This world for everybody, man. This world ain't built for this one man. It's built for all men. You know what I mean? Respect everything that's living.
Hell yeah.
Right.
I don't care if it's a bug, is a bird, whatever. Respect everything that's living.
Yeah, you know, they were actually just stepping out of the studio, Debo. They were literally just stepping out of the studio. They were with Waka Flocka, and they were actually shooting a music video to a song with Bobby Shmurda as well. 10 Toes Down is in the mix, you guys. And I really appreciate him, you know what I mean, not stepping back. You know what I mean? Not stepping back from actually putting Waka Flocka on my channel. Any other blogger probably would have shied away from that shit. Any other blogger probably would have been like, no, I'm not doing this for your channel. That's what you see. That's where you can see character. You know what I mean? I had worked with 10 Toes Down on a few interviews. You know what I mean? I worked with 10 Toes Down on a few interviews, and we built a relationship to the point where he felt comfortable bringing, like when he's hanging out with Bimmy and when he's hanging out with Waka, comfortable enough putting them on my camera. And, you know, it just so happened that these OGs in the game actually remembered me from the past, man. You know what I mean? Iceberg, yep, that's right. Those were Bimmy's words. This world is for everybody. The legendary OG Bimmy. You know, Bimmy actually, the Hip Hop Uncovered, the FX show. I believe him and Big U had something to do with that. You know, it shit's all over. Talking the FX network and that shit. You know, Bimmy was chopping some game. If you guys want to go check that out, it's a couple videos back. Waka Flocka popped on the channel as well. We was talking some old shit from the past. Honestly, man, I'm not too aware of DJ Vlad and him asking guests about Birdman. You know, I haven't really noticed DJ Vlad asking guests about Birdman in reality. Something I more know about that Vlad does is bring on guests that talk about Tupac. You know, Vlad has openly talked about the fact that he is uncovering different elements of the Tupac story. And look at all the shit he's done with it, man. From having the Outlaws members up there to actually now having like really, really serious conversations about the passing of Tupac. You know what I mean? About what happened to Tupac, about some of the key players that were actually involved in that. I haven't so much noticed. Oh, yeah, yeah. I actually didn't watch that interview. With Birdman's brother. Seemed like a decent interview. But I just didn't watch it. So I'm not really all too aware if I'm not really all too aware if as to why Birdman severed relations with his brother. You know what I mean? I'm not all too aware if Birdman severed relationships with his brother. I guess they're saying something about his brother snitched. So to get out, he had a lot of time. He snitched to get out of jail, I guess. And then Birdman apparently called Vlad. I seen a couple headlines like that. You know what I mean? Vlad had spoke about getting a call from Birdman or something like that. Yep. He was saying that he Trapman, what's up, Trapman Kane? He said that his brother told the story of how he got out of jail. But I will say, man, nah. I just had to go holler at my homie real quick. He wanted to take one of my whips out and shit. But yeah, because my boys know I'm filming and shit, so they're all doing them and shit. They be knowing what I be doing and shit. I just be like, yo, guys, man, hold up. But eventually, when we get this shit into a bigger platform, you know what I mean? Eventually, when I take this shit to another level, I'm going to be live streaming with it where I'm just walking around the whole crib and shit. But for now, I got my studio set up. I got my man cave, my studio, my media room, whatever you want to refer to it as. You know, I got my computers. I got my cameras on deck. You know what I'm saying? I got everything that I need in here. But eventually, we're taking this shit to the podcast lane, man. Eventually, we're taking this shit to the podcast lane. But right now, it's cool. It's cool, man. Soon enough, we're gonna have that 100,000 YouTube plaque up here in the room. We're gonna have the 100,000 YouTube plaque up here in the room. I better have Dutches because I didn't tell them to grab no Dutches. Yup. Oh no. I gotta have another pack. But anyways, it is what it is. Yeah, man. Yeah, Debo. I'm saying, bro, I don't really know the whole story, in all honesty. You know what I mean? I met Birdman one time. Compton Menace actually introduced me to Birdman. Met Birdman's bodyguard as well. Busta Rhymes the same night. Everybody be kicking it at that studio. Hit Factory. All right, cool. Sorry, I had to text my boy to grab some Dutches while he's out. I need like another 3-4 packs. But yeah, tonight, exclusive. Tonight, an exclusive is dropping. Tap in 10:30 p.m. like usual on my channel, you guys. Make sure y'all be tapped in here at 10:30. You guys will see the notification go up. If you're worried about not getting a notification, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're worried about getting a notification, you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe, the notification bell, because you will have another video coming from me tonight at 10:30. It's about some serious shit, y'all. Talking some serious shit. 10 Toes Down responds to Hassan Campbell. That's right. 10 Toes Down responds to Hassan Campbell saying, oh, all your blogs are about me. All your videos are about me. All your videos, Hassan, are about me. Well, excuse me, Hassan. It seems to me that 10 Toes Down doesn't even need to eat off of the hip-hop headlines. You don't see 10 Toes Down coming in, Gillie clashes with Rick Ross just to take advantage of the views. And then he's not. And if he does that, he's talking about that. But what Hassan does is he takes one of the hip-hop classic things, just like Hassan wants to say, oh, Mikey T just wants to have this rapper beef with this rapper, like we're back in the Smack DVD days and shit, the Come Up DVD days. Like, Hassan, are you all right, dude? Are you okay? Like, my mind is not working like we're back on a DVD. I do interviews. You know what I mean? I do interviews. It's not like the old days from the DVD where one guy runs to this guy to get an interview, then you run to that guy to get his response. It's not what I'm doing over here. You've seen me. I've done interviews with Bang'em Smurf for years. When I link up with Kid and I link up with other people from Trigger Ock from G Unit, if I get an opportunity for somebody from G Unit, I'm not asking them to diss Bang'em Smurf. It's not what I'm doing. I'm going there and I'm getting their story. Hell yeah, Eric. Appreciate you, man. Mikey T is just coming out with videos every day, every night. Yep, that's exactly what I'm doing. You know, at one point in time, I would release like one video a week. You know what I mean? I would do an interview, 30, 40-minute interview. You know what I'm saying? I would do like a 30, 40-minute interview and I'd release one piece a week, maybe 2 pieces a week. And I would put it on all the hot websites. You know what I mean? Just to keep my name out there, just to keep all these people reading the name. This interview done by Mikey T, the movie star. I'll do that every single week, but it's a different thing now, man. It's a whole different thing now. Right now, the new wave, the new vibe, you guys, the new vibe is hip hop news, interviews every day, and nonstop content, y'all. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because I will be on again tonight at 10:30 with some exclusive content. We're on round 3 tonight. Hassan, I hope you're ready for round 3. I hope you're ready for round 3. Yo, Kenny, I told you, hit my DM with his hit my DM with his IG, bro. Debo says, Mikey T, what blogger would you get in a scrap with if you had the chance, bro? There's no rap bloggers that I want to get in a scrap with, man. You know what I mean? When bloggers tap in, they usually show me love. Like, look, we had Milk on the channel. Milk popped in on the channel. Honestly, this dude, Milk, who has a very successful channel, popped in after the whole thing with Adam 22. What did he do? He explained to me the whole situation. That shit was respect right there. When somebody shows me respect, I reciprocate it. You know what I mean? And I've been shown respect by a lot in the game. So that's why I can't really say that I have a problem with many. You know, everybody wants to say shit like me and Vlad get along like it's peaches and cream or some shit. Yo, me and Vlad, I used to put videos on Vlad's site back in the day, but shit got twisted. You know what I mean? I used to put videos up, but then they also would put up my interviews as well. But shit got twisted. You know what I mean? Shit got twisted with the whole Vlad situation because one of his people that worked for his website got fired. You know what I mean? I used to have I have relationships with every single website, guys. So don't put me in a box. I was on Hip Hop DX. I was on Hot New Hip Hop. I was on All Hip Hop. I was on World Star. I was on Baller Status. I was in the Source not the Source magazine, the Source website. I was in Double XL, Hip Hop Weekly magazine. You know what I mean? I didn't just go on one website. I didn't just go on one website, you guys. I did not try to just go on one website, but nah, the thing was I was trolling Vlad back in the day because everyone wants to say like, yo, Mikey T, why doesn't Vlad TV and Adam 22 beef? You don't know what Vlad 22 or Vlad TV and Adam 22 went through in their past just because they handled it behind closed doors and have come into the point where they can have a conversation that's an interview. You know what I mean? Back in the day, I would troll Vlad. You know what I mean? I would troll Vlad back in the day. You know what I mean? I would troll the game when he left G Unit back in the day. And I'd be like, yo, bro, why'd you mess up G Unit? Why'd you mess up G Unit? What the hell did you do? Da, da, da. I would hit Vlad like, Vlad, why are you doing these interviews like that, man? I'm 10 times better than you at interviews. I'm 50 times better. I got better interviews than you. And you know what, man? Shit like that, I regret doing. You know what I mean? Shit like that, I regret doing. You know, where the hell did that get me doing that shit? You know what I mean? When in reality, don't focus on that negative shit. Just focus on your path. Stay focused, man, and continue working. I'm looking at the situation like after that, you know, all my videos kept on going on Vlad, but still like Vlad has me blocked on social media because all that amateur, all that adolescent shit, all that, you know, amateur, you know what I mean? Like you shouldn't, all that green shit I was doing, dissing people. Like, yo, some of these rappers get into the game and they just start dissing other rappers thinking it's going to get them somewhere. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get people that are really cocky when they get into the game. If I ever offended anybody, I want to take this time right now to apologize, man. If I ever offended anybody in the past because of my attitude or anything like that. You know what I mean? Sometimes I do move a little bit too quick. Sometimes I don't know who people are and shit like that. And I'm just like, oh, you're hating? Then I'm going to write you off. You know what I mean? Sometimes I move a little quick like that, man. We all do got things that we can improve on. You know what I mean? But it's, what can I say about it, man? We all got things that we need to improve on. I don't know about Vlad trying to Lloyd Banks Mikey T. It wasn't like Vlad called me lazy. You know what I mean? Debo, what were you kind of meaning by that? It wasn't like Vlad called me lazy because, like I said, back in the day, I would legitimately be releasing content. I would legitimately be releasing content like every single week of the year, every few days. You know, just to let the people in the industry know that I was there. I didn't want anybody to forget about me. You know what I mean? I was the type of dude, when I heard that Harv Pierre or Puff Daddy were in the room, I would literally make a point to actually shake their hand. I remember first meeting Harv Pierre. I remember first meeting Diddy first. The only time I met those. No, actually, I went to Diddy's crib to do an interview with Cassie at one point, so I can't say that. Yeah, J Hood. I did an interview with J Hood where he talked about his meeting with 50 Cent. You know what I mean? That interview was on World Star Hip Hop. It was on thisis50.com. You know what I mean? It was on all the major websites. You know, so that's why when people say, oh, Mikey T, you're doing this beef with Hassan Campbell for views. I'm not doing nothing for views. I've been getting views for 12, 13 years at this point. Believe me, I'm not going and interviewing 10 Toes Down just to get views. You know what I mean? I interviewed 10 Toes Down and we actually built a dope ass relationship to the point where we can do a podcast here and there now. That is what I'm trying to do. That is worth so much more. Building that relationship is worth so much more than a quick payoff. To me, at least. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I'm here for the memories. I'm not talking about some cheesy rock song. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about some softies. You know what I mean? So that Hassan Campbell would probably love to listen to. I'm talking about real shit. Legendary, what are you talking about? He would fly out or go to your hood to interview you. Who are you talking about, bro? But yeah, that was a dope interview with J Hood. Yeah, I liked working with J Hood back in the day. And you know, J Hood has his own YouTube page popping now. You know what I'm saying? Be dope if I could have J Hood back on the channel to promote his YouTube page. He does a whole bunch of great shit aside from the music. You know, he's always released a bunch of music. I was going to say my favorite series of his being the new Pesci series, you guys. When he started doing those Pesci joints, I was like, yo, that's actually perfect for J Hood. So go tap in with J Hood on YouTube too, man. Yeah. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Appreciate that, legendary. You know, I've been doing more work than ever. I've been doing more work than ever. You know what I mean? I've been doing more work than ever in the last few years, I guess you would say. You know what I mean? Just because it all boils down to what I wanted to do in the first place, you guys. You know, get information out there. And honestly, with my name growing, you know what I'm saying? With my name growing, with attention coming, you know what I'm saying? With people actually interested in retaining this information, the shit is growing. You know what I mean? What rapper ever curved you? Let me think. I got to think about what rapper ever curved me. It's kind of like the other way around. Like I made a couple bad mistakes not interviewing certain people. Like one point in time, I actually had a chance to interview and meet Little Uzi Vert. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, Little Uzi Vert was working with Louis V, you know, from Dream Chasers and shit. And I was working with Louis V back in the day and shit. And Louis had hit me and he was like, yo, Mikey, can you come out to Philly? Can you come out to Philly? And I think he had wanted me to come out to Philly. And I want to say it was going to meet Little Uzi Vert at that point because he had just worked with him, you guys. And, you know, like, guys, going out to Philly, I'm in Connecticut. You know what I mean? Going out to Philly, I'm going out there so much. I'm going out to New York so much. I'm driving out to Mass to do work. It's not a cheap thing to do. You know what I mean? So I have turned down a couple opportunities. Like I remember I turned down that to go meet Little Uzi Vert, I want to say. And then I also had an opportunity to interview Rich Homie Quan. He had a show in Orlando. I was living in Miami at the time. It was like a 3-hour drive. You know what I mean? I was always doing so much work. You know, it's like, and money isn't something that I just have loads of to where you can go and just throw the money in the tank, get a hotel room. You know what I'm saying? It's not really something I don't have the luxury of, you know, spending money like that. So it's like I really had to pick and choose. I got a lot of great opportunities. You know what I mean? I got a lot of great opportunities. I don't regret nothing. But yeah, so it's kind of let me think. Who has denied an interview with me though? 50 Cent denied an interview with me to my face. Yeah, that's one. 50 Cent denied an interview to me to my face, actually. But we had a conversation about that. I might have to do an official live video about that, actually. You know what I mean? I might have to do an exclusive video about that, to be honest with you guys. Oh, damn, my shit's about to die. Yep. I interviewed Max B as well twice. When he got locked up in 2009, I interviewed him in 2011. And that interview actually was released on magazines. That interview was actually on French Montana's album. My interview with Max B. My interview with Max B was actually featured on French Montana's album. The intro, that beginning of French Montana's Excuse My French album is my interview with Max B. So yeah, that was dope. Then I interviewed Max B again in 2013. Did a lot of work with Max B. And now, JP, like, when I get turned down for an interview, bro, like when 50 Cent explained to me the reason he couldn't do the interview, like, you know, it's obviously going to make you feel a certain way, but you got to take it in stride. Tony says, is Vlad your inspiration? Well, I got started in 2009. Vlad got started a few years before that. So you got to understand, I really didn't know who Vlad was like that. You know what I mean? Like, don't get it misinterpreted. Like, people are like, oh, Mikey T, you knew who 10 Toes Down was, so that's why you interviewed him to bash us on. Nah, I interviewed 10 Toes Down because there was an overwhelming outcry in the fans and the popularity of him from all my followers. When I first got into the game, I didn't know who Vlad was. My inspiration was getting into the game was my brother. He makes movies, actually. My brother just got his 7th feature film, first major film. There's like a $500,000 budget. Slapface, it's called. He put me in it. It's on Shudder. It's on a bunch of streaming platforms right now. The dude who made The Grudge actually put in some promo for this movie, horror movie called Slapface. My brother actually defied the odds and shit, and he actually inspired me. But y'all, I hope y'all enjoy this live video, man. Yeah, it was my brother. He's the director. I'm the movie star. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. I will catch y'all next time.